Hi there. I'm back today with a new video, which is actually not about a book, but about a topic I would like to talk that is very important to me. And I had the chance to think about it in a different light recently because of some things that have been happening in my life. And this is feminism. I want to talk about it because 15 days ago was the International Women's Day. And for many feminists, it's a very important day for what it represents on the bigger picture, rather than just, okay, nice, tell me Happy Women's Day, bring me flowers. So I also had the opportunity to rethink it because, some things have been happening to me. And, when we talk about something like feminism, we usually start from the theory. Because I am a strong believer that you need to know the theory before talking about something. And also when you're curious, you want to explore things. And curiosity is a very strong weapon in general. Because knowledge is power, in my opinion. However, I think that theory sometimes can be a bit limiting. Because theory and reality are two different things. So for this reason, for example, I gathered some of the books I have on feminism and psychology, because I think that to know society, you need to know yourself. To know yourself, you need to know society. I love reading, so on and so on. So for instance, here is a selection of them. I have them both in Italian and English. Some of them are the same, like for example, this one is The Women Who Runs with the Wolves in Italian, and I have the English version, which is the top one. Some of these books are about philosophy, psychology, and feminism. I also did a module in university here at Birkbeck called Gender and Gender and Society. Anyway, no, philosophy and gender. Sorry, society was a different one. But it was anyway about language and society. It was about history of feminism and then language and so on and so on. My point is that I came to realize lately that you may know a lot about the theory. Like yesterday, a friend of mine told me, you read so much, why are you not applying what you read? Fair enough. Yeah, point taken. I think because... what I came to realize today is that feminism does not protect you from life. In both ways, like in more ways than one. Like, one of the reasons is that you are a human being. By definition, is the first time that you live, or the first time you have memory of that. So you're making mistakes. Not only that, you're made of vulnerabilities, you're made of fragilities. Like, when you are in a situation that triggers you or hurts, usually is because that situation appeals to a fragility you have inside of you. Someone said, I read a quote that said, you should need therapy if you had a childhood. Because we all have a past, we all have a history, we all have our vulnerabilities. So in that way, even knowing the theory of something does not protect you from what's going to happen. Because you may know perfectly how to cook a dish, but the first time you make it, maybe, I don't know, you make a mistake for some reason, and you're gonna repeat the mistake. And, I have a lot of colleagues that cook, and they get burned all the time, and they make mistakes. It's life. So that's one of the first things. Like, I feel like feminism does not protect you from life, in the sense that life is much more complex than a theory in a book. And generally things cannot be just black and white, like life is much more complex than that. Personally, I like to say I've been a feminist since I was 12 years old, which is not accurate because to become who you are takes much longer than that. 12 years old, you are a kid. So, but at the same time, I always had kind of a pull towards feminism, as I had towards philosophy and psychology, because I always thought, why do I need to do things that maybe a man doesn't have to? Why do I need to respect these rules? Why am I playing with these rules? So, for example, I remember my grandfather used to say, you need to help your grandma washing dishes, and I used to get so upset. I was like, why do I need to do so? And my brother is sitting on the sofa reading a newspaper because he's a man, and this is a true story. And I was maybe 12, 11 years old, and I was already like hothead because, well, I am like this. But even so, even like I am very rebellious on some things, I realized I still fell for some traps that they were there and I could have spotted. And with all my theory on feminism and all my knowledge and all my reading, I could have avoided and I didn't avoid. And this is not like, I would say, it's not, I don't mean to either play the victim or be like, oh, poor me, or feel like, oh no, it's all my fault. No, none of this. It's just that you realize that even if you know something, sometimes reality is much more complex. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that as women, we're playing a game that is already rigged. We live in a patriarchal society. That's a fact. And this is not, again, to fall into the victim mentality, like, oh yeah, patriarchy is around us, like it's this giant shadow looming over us, and be like, oh no, it's patriarchy, I cannot do anything about it. No, because this is like victimism, and no, this doesn't work. Also, it doesn't help us, so no. But the thing is that we are playing a game that is already rigged. And patriarchy is around us in the way that is in society, and we are playing the game. And sometimes, because we try to change the rules and the game is rigged, society twisted the rules again to make us feel like, oh no, actually, the game is not rigged. We fix it. But no, it's not true. So the point, I think, as Audre Lorde said, is the master's tools will not dismantle the master's house. It's not possible. And again, if we are playing a game that is rigged, we need to be aware that the relationship that we have as women with men is always gonna be based on conflict. When we say no all men, or when men say no all men, they try to defend themselves from the fact that we are in a society that favors them, that like is designed for them. Life is designed for men, not for women. Which doesn't mean that they don't suffer as well, because men suffer from this society as well. It's what we call toxic masculinity. There is a lot of tropes, and it's a huge topic, and I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, and that's not my point, because I am also going to be very upset if I talk about this. And also, I don't want to start a war against men. No, I love men. I'm straight. I'm heterosexual. I have male friends that I love with all my heart, but also because they are people that are doing the work on themselves. Like, they are aware that they are in a society that try to fuck us up. All of us, like women, because we are like the weak part of the coin, and men because they are the strong part of the coin, but because they are strong, they cannot show some emotions, for example. So again, the toxic masculinity, because men are taught, for example, that some emotions are valid, like anger and assertiveness. I mean, assertiveness is not an emotion, but you get me, like this sense of like being assertive and be cold and having an armor and all of that. But and anger is one of the emotions that is allowed to men, but sadness is not. And on the other hand, sadness and fragility is a thing that works for women, but women cannot be angry. And something the feminists tell you all the time is that you need to take your anger back. You need to be fucking rageful. And I love that. I mean, I'm already a person that is rageful by herself, but also the fact that you get so angry is because anger is telling you that your boundaries have been violated. It's telling you that something is wrong. Something is wrong with the rules. Something is wrong with how you're playing. Something is wrong in all of this. So that's where your anger comes from. And yeah, so we are all playing a game that is rigged. All of us. And feminism protects you to an extent because you know how things are, but at the same time you are living and you are making mistakes. And, you know, I came to realize lately, because of something that happened in my life recently, that feminism is made in the streets, yes, because we had women and men as well, but I would say women because we're talking about women right now, going in the streets and saying, no, I want divorce, I want abortion, I want the rights of my own body, I want to be free, I want to do whatever I want, like I want to have a bank account, I want to live by myself, I want to adopt children. Like, we had women fighting in the street. But also what I mean by say that feminism is made in the street is that feminism is about support and sorority. I met a lot of women in my life telling me, I'm not a feminist, I don't believe in feminism. For many reasons. One of them is, I wish there was no need for feminism. Fair enough, me too, I wish there was peace in the world and people were not starving of hunger in the streets, but, well, reality is a bit different, because we live in a capitalistic society that goes together with patriarchy, but that's another topic. Okay, I don't want to get upset. So yeah, I wish as well, but wishful thinking doesn't help anyone, so nope. And another reason is being like, there are many people that feel like, especially men, but also women, I realize, when we talk about feminism, either they're scared, like, okay, this woman is a feminist, she's gonna be fucking pissed off all the time. She's gonna, like, hold everything against me, or be so upset and be unbearable, and that's one of the things. The other one is that, yeah, we are intimidating, and what is the other one? It's not just that, like, we are scared, it's that we are uncomfortable because we are presenting the bill. We say, oh, look, this is what happens, let's talk about this. And as for many other difficult conversations, people don't always want to be accountable. They don't want that. They want to just sweep it under the rug and be like, yeah, okay, there is patriarchy, but, no. So, yeah, I realized that also women that, say, I don't want feminist, I don't believe in feminism and all of this, sometimes they feel threatened in their own institution as well. Let's say, like, oh, but I love men, I want to get married and have kids. How can this go together with being a feminist? And I think that that's a real problem because life is made of contradictions. Like, I have one of the books here, I think it's this one by Roxane Gray, that says Bad Feminist, and she say, oh, dude, I love men, I love having sex, I love this kind of stuff, but at the same time, I'm a feminist. So I understand that for a lot of women as well, it's uncomfortable to have this kind of conversation because maybe they want the fairy tale, maybe they want to get married and have children and they are romantic in a way. I get it. Like, I believe in fairy tales, I want the fairy tales romance, yes, but at the same time I am a feminist and I know the society doesn't work like that. So we need to live with our contradictions. So that's another thing. But also what I came to realize that is made in the street because feminism is about supporting each other. It's about being there for each other. And being there in a kind of empathetic, compassionate, sympathetic way. Because one of the weapons that patriarchy and society use against women is shame. The other one is guilt. So very often, when as women we talk about experiences that for us have been painful, first of all we feel shame. We feel like, how could I be so stupid to feel into this, to fall into this? How could I believe these things? How could I believe these lies? How could how could I not see this? Especially in relationship with men, especially in romantic relationship, because that's the point. That's exactly my point. Like with other women already, we have conflictuality because we are told that women are the worst enemy of other women, that like only one of us can be at the top, only one woman can be at the top, all the other women are our enemies because there is only one spot, there is only one number one, all the others are our enemies. And, I feel like the first thing is shame, the second thing is guilt. It's like, oh, okay, I failed, or I have this emotion, so I have this feeling, so I desire a person, I desire this man, I want this man, so I'm guilty because I shouldn't feel this, I shouldn't feel that way, I'm not a good feminist, I'm not a good woman, also because patriarchy, together with the idea that religion has created, especially like monotheistic religions, but not only those, created the idea that a woman cannot be two things at the same time. So, I cannot be the angel in the house and at the same time be like the whore, because that's a definition, right, that man gives of women that want something. So yeah, we feel guilt, we feel shame, we feel like, okay, how can I talk about my experience to another woman without feeling stupid, and so on and so on. And I think that that's exactly the point. That's where feminism actually becomes real. That is like when we are supporting each other and when we are creating sorority. Because I read this quote by Anne Voskamp that says, shame dies when stories are told in safe places. And yeah, I feel that that's my point with feminism. Like when we are talking, when we're telling our stories, that for us they're shameful, for us they are like so painful because we did mistakes, especially if we know the theory and we failed. How could we make those mistakes? How is it possible? And then we have these other women in our lives that are saying, no, it's fine. I'm here, I'm listening to you, and I'm being compassionate and sympathetic, because that's the point. Like, definition of sympathy and compassion is like suffering together. I'm here suffering with you because your story is not only your story, it's my story as well, because I know what you've been through, I know what society is asking me to be and what I feel and the traps I fall in. And like, I'm doing this video because I genuinely want to thank the women in my life, because lately I realized that I know an amount of fucking strong women in my life, and they are absolutely great. And they're great not because they're flawless. They're great because they overcame what was thrown at them, which again is kind of a rhetoric of patriarchy that really pissed me off, because it says, oh yeah, as a woman you're made to endure suffering through childbirth, through period pain, through whatever heartbreak we are throwing at you. There is a song that is very famous in Italy and really makes me upset right now, that is called, translating it, is called like What Women Don't Say. And it's like this song about women being there for their man, even if the man treats them like shit, even if the man is gonna disappear, even if even if he cheats on them, they still gonna be there and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna say yes to you, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be your angel in the house. And when I'm thinking about these things and I'm getting upset, I'm realizing that yeah, in the theory, I know that these things are wrong, and still I fell for it sometimes in my life, because we are made of vulnerabilities and we are made of ideas that unconsciously are inside of us, and maybe we've been told by society, maybe our mothers taught this because they were taught this by their mothers, because it's a transgenerational trauma as well. And that's exactly my point. Like, I don't want to fall in the rhetoric of, oh yeah, women are so strong because they endure suffering. No, we are fucking strong, yes, but we shouldn't be enduring suffering, first of all. And second of all, we should acknowledge that we are strong, and the women in my life, they're so strong because things were thrown at them. They survived horrible things and they're still standing, and we need to praise the women around us that they are surviving this. I can tell you 20, 30 different examples of women that I know. It can be my grandma, it can be my mother, it can be my colleague, it can be my best friend. I know like women that they endure so much, which is not just like passively enduring and like, oh yeah, poor me, I'm a woman, I need to suffer. No, they overcame those things. They were like, they said, I've been treated like shit. It was horrible. I've been cheated on. I've been lied to. I put myself back, and I stood up and I said, that's it, I'm not accepting this anymore. And I am doing this video because I'm truly and genuinely grateful for the kind of women I'm meeting in my life right now, and I am surrounded by right now, because that's the feminism I believe in. Like women standing in a circle, like together, like next to each other, and saying, yes, what you live was shit. And I'm not judging you, I'm not shaming you, I'm not victim blaming you. I'm listening to you, and I'm telling you, feel your emotions that happened to you, But I'm here. I'm here and I'm not shying away. I'm not pretending not to see your pain. I see your pain. I acknowledge it as a woman and as a person that lived what you lived. And this is sorority for me. I am truly, truly, truly grateful for the examples of women I have in my life right now. And this doesn't mean that there is no conflict there. It doesn't mean that I cannot be envious of them or I cannot fight with them and I'm a human being. Like, I have flaws. I can fight with them. I can think, oh yeah, look, she's a bitch sometimes or whatever. But at the same time, I know that that's feminism. It's saying, okay, I believe in you so much and I'm standing next to you in front of everything and despite everything. And this is also what patriarchy doesn't want us to do. It wants us to be separated from each other. It wants us to be alone, to say, oh, that woman is your enemy, the woman cannot really understand you. But it's not true. Like, we need to create this kind of community. That's the concept of sorority. And yeah, I'm so grateful, and I want to thank the women in my life right now, because they say that sometimes in life you don't get what you want, but you get what you need. And I think that at this point right now, I need this. I need to see that feminism is not just words in books, but that we can fight in the street, and we fight every day. Like every day, like supporting each other and holding each other accountable as well, and say, yes, you chose this, you made this mistake, but I'm here next to you. You survive, you're gonna survive, you're gonna rise up from this. And yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. So thank you all for being the amazing full of flaws women that you are, and thank you, because that's feminism for me.